Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, strap yourself in. Nearly time for another exciting week of Sweet and Sour. My name's Damon Lockwood. I'll be hosting this evening, filling in the very large shoes of the absent but very beautiful Gary Mitchell. What could possibly go wrong? Topics, letters, let's do it, ladies and gentlemen. Interesting topics tonight. Letter 1, the bare truth about a desperate Christian mother worried about her son. Never heard of that before, of course. Number 2, spitting rights. Is spitting gross? The quick and easy answer, yes it is. But we'll find out what our panellists have to say. And number 3, girls. When is it an appropriate time to call a bunch of grown women girls? I don't think anybody knows anymore, but we will find out this evening on Sweet and Sour, coming at you very soon. Stick around.
Got a problem, big or small, would a miracle be nice? Our motley crew is back, churning out advice. You might even laugh a bit in the following half hour. Park your backside on the couch, cause baby it's time for Sweet and Sour. Right here on Sweet and Sour.
Welcome to another banging episode of Sweet and Sour. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's great to have your company. My name's Damon Lockwood. I'll be your host this evening, filling in the very large but surprisingly sweet-smelling shoes of Gary Mitchell. I'll try and be half a good as man as that man is. What great topics, what great panellists we have, I tell you, and attractive, the most attractive cast this side of Crime Stoppers, let me tell you. Let's meet them now, shall we? The one, the only, Korum Ellis. Good evening, Korum.
Hello.
How are you?
It's very lovely to be here again. I'm very well. How are you?
I'm just living the dream, thank you very much.
I can see that right there at the tip of the sword here tonight.
Tip of the sword, that's the name of a punk band I was in once. We were terrible. Are you working on a short film at the moment?
Yes, Xanadu Falls. Very exciting, in pre-production now, and looking to put it together before the end of the year. So check it out on the interwebs at Xanadu Falls Movie.
Starting to film next month, I believe.
Yes, indeed.
All the very best of luck. The amazing, the beautiful Yvonne Ardley. Good evening, Yvonne.
Good evening.
Just come back from Vietnam, I believe.
Yeah, I just got back from Vietnam 2 weeks ago. So I was there for the University Scholars Leadership Symposium, which was basically a big conference looking at global humanitarian issues.
Great, that sounds exciting.
It was very exciting.
Been to Mirrabooka recently, so not as exciting. Lisa Needham is here, ladies and gentlemen. Lisa is here. Good evening, Lisa.
Good evening, how are you? Thank you for having me.
So good. How's the property development market going?
It's going very well. There's lots happening. There's a bit of an oversupply and everyone's a bit nervous, but it's still exciting times and there's opportunity everywhere as there is if you're willing to put the time and effort in to find it.
And the one, the only, Nunzio La Bianca is here. Good evening,
hello,
Nunzio.
my friend. How are you?
So good. What's been going? How's plastering business going these days?
Oh, the boys are working hard.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And what happens if they don't?
Well, I just go for coffee and discuss what I'm going to do, and then I go to lunch, and then I ring them up, and I sack the whole lot of them and hire somebody else.
Lots of business lunches in your business, I believe, Nunzio.
Brings a lot.
Let's crack into the first letter, shall we, ladies and gentlemen? It's called The Bare Truth. Hello, panel. My son is the product of a very conservative upbringing. We've been a church-going family, and the kids have been brought up with that notion, all having good Christian values. The eldest two both married in the last 5 years, started families of their own and married partners who held the same values. My youngest finished university and has been out in the workforce for 2 years. After a series of girlfriends, good boy, he finally said to us a few months ago that he'd like to bring a particular girl to church. She came just the once. It was awful. The girl didn't have the common sense to cover her tattoos, which she could have chosen to do easily. When she was introduced to our minister, she couldn't wait to shock him by asking if he approved of strippers. Of course he does, he's a priest. What? The good-natured minister that he is laughed and suggested that she was a wonderfully spirited woman. My husband found out after some digging that she has been an exotic dancer. Well, she'll have something to do at Christmas time at least. She's no good for him. He's like a kid in a candy store for the first time. This woman who is dazzling him with all manner of pleasure pursuits has him besotted. Yet when the novelty wears out, it'll all fall apart. She really is awful. But as they say, love is blind, and my husband and I just don't know how to make him see what lays ahead. Please, panellists, how do you let someone see the plain truth? Nunzio, please help out Barbara from Camberwell in Victoria.
Oh, well, as it happens, I used to own a strip club called Sinatra's.
Is that right?
I did, in
You're the
Fremantle.
perfect person to answer
In
this question.
Fremantle.
Do you know this woman?
And these people are a little bit confused. Strippers are beautiful people. They're lovely.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you can't just become a stripper. You got to go to a night school. You got to learn how to dance, how to walk. It's entertaining. You got to put shows on. You got to learn how to lap dance. You can't just go there and jump on a guy.
Yeah.
Mate, they should bring it to uni. It should be a university degree.
It's a life skill.
Yeah,
it's a life skill.
It is. So, and this guy's won the lotto. He gets free lap dances. You know, he gets free this, free that. It's fantastic. He's got a strip club in his house. What's wrong with you people? Get in.
Everything is coming together, ladies and gentlemen. Lisa, have you ever brought a partner home that your parents didn't approve of?
Well, yes.
Well, let's move on. We digress.
I was thinking, I thought you were going to say, did they strip? I was like, no, I wouldn't go out with a stripper. But what's wrong with that? I think, quite frankly, it's too late for you. You're stuffed. It's too late. He's found the love of his life. Tats are starting to equal tits, and as you said, he's getting like the lap dance in his house. It's amazing. And what's wrong with tattoos anyway? I mean, I'm not that I have any, but I think he's a lucky man, and it could be a lot worse. You say he's a product of a very conservative upbringing, but could that be the reason why he's rebelling against you as well? Like, he sounds like a nice young man, according to you, so it's first taste of the real world for him, perhaps.
Sounds a bit like there's a bit of a reverse Oedipal situation going on.
Exactly.
I think Barbara's a bit jealous.
Could be. Could be. Maybe she needs to learn some tricks for her husband.
Maybe she needs to do a bit of pole dancing classes. Who knows? Yvonne, advice for Barbara? Is she losing her youngest son?
Right, if I was to give some advice, because I'm definitely a mother of a 23-year-old man, not at all.
Wow, you've lived a good life.
I'm going to give you some advice anyway, though. I personally think that if you think he's making a mistake, it's his life and he needs to make mistakes for himself. He needs to decide whether this girl is good value for him or not. And the longer he goes out with her, the more that he will realise that, if that is the case. But if you try and interfere with that, then all that's going to do is build resentment and he'll push further away from you.
That's good advice. It's good. Maybe you do have a 23-year-old child that you don't know about. And
Good living.
Korum, I've got to tell you, in terms of making a life mistake, you can make worse life mistakes than dating an exotic dancer, can't you?
That is not a terrible mistake at all. What I'm interested in, though, is I wondered just, Barbara, how much digging your husband had to do.
I noticed that too, yes.
Yeah, it's like, oh, yes, I've never seen you before. Are you a stripper?
Starlight? Woman I've never met before.
And how long did he keep it to himself as well? You know,
Yeah,
suddenly...
and they're just, meanwhile, they're having those little looks across the table. She is like, I know your secret, old man. No, Barbara, first of all, tattoos are hot. Don't forget that. Absolutely amazing. And who hasn't taken their clothes off for money once or twice in their life? Am I right, Dan?
Oh, God. Earlier this evening.
Yeah.
That was on the bus.
And as with a lot of religions, I guess they're mostly about acceptance and tolerance. And so, invite this woman into your life. Maybe the two juxtaposed natures of your son and this woman will balance each other out into a nice, harmonious relationship.
Korum, I feel like a better person. Nunzio, what is the best exotic dancer stripper name you've ever heard of? For reals?
Oh, Baby Doll.
Sure.
Baby Doll
Yeah,
Marmalade?
she was Baby Doll. She was an Australian champion, European champion.
She's not here, is she?
Baby
Ladies
Doll.
and gentlemen, our panel has helped Barbara out immensely. Good luck, your young son with Baby Doll. What a panel. We'll be back very shortly with the next episode
That was
edition.
my ex-wife, by the way.
But you've got to meet them somewhere, right? We'll be back with Sweet and Sour very shortly.
I love that.
It was perfect. I love it when it all works out like that.
Was that really your ex-wife?
No. She was Australian champion, Baby Doll.
Getting in touch with Sweet and Sour is easy. Just head to sweetandsour.net.au to send us a letter. And while you're there, why not check out our past episodes? Plus, don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And for a behind-the-scenes look at Sweet and Sour, check us out on Instagram.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for sticking around here at Sweet and Sour. Every letter that gets read out tonight, the writer will be sent to David Brent, Life on the Road, thanks to Natalie Cameron, NRC Communications. Great film, great prize. Thank you, Natalie. Let's jump straight into the next letter called Spitting Rights. Gross. Dear panel, Where do you find in young people today the self-respect instilled in nearly every individual of the previous generations, disregarding World War II, obviously? Maybe I'm overreacting, but in the last 2 weeks, I have seen so many young people, male and female, spitting in public. Apart from it being utterly unhygienic, it's also disgusting. What is in the heads of young people today? Have I missed out on the memo and it's suddenly okay to spit in public? What happened to carrying tissues or hankies? And I heard for the first time in my life that a taxi driver pulled over, got out of his car and defecated on the side of the road. Which is better than defecating in his own taxi, although let's be honest. It's the same disgusting thing. Is defecating the same as spitting? Look, it's unacceptable, yet the level of self-respect to prevent this happening is now so low in young people, it's almost non-existent. What is happening? How do we lift the level of self-respect in Australia? Are we simply decaying as a society? What can we do? And what can we do to make people aware of how disgusting spitting in the street really is? Amanda from South Perth, WA. Korum, help her out. What's going on?
Amanda, I'm completely with you. I absolutely agree. Spitting in particular seems to be rife everywhere. But really there seems to be like a bit of a general lack of etiquette and class everywhere you go, particularly with the youth. Just laziness and slobbiness. It's everywhere. I'm with you, Amanda.
I take that as a bit of an insult,
despicable.
actually. Good. Everywhere you go. What about right now, Korum? Jeez. Yvonne, do you think behaviour changes over time, or do individuals' perception of behaviour change as you get older, potentially?
Well, I think it's more individuals' perception, and I think that, Korum, this is pretty indicative of your age now, because you're getting older, so now you're blaming the youth of today. No, I think as a society, I mean, our generation is the most empathetic, most compassionate, most thoughtful generation there has been yet. So I don't think that you can necessarily say that. Secondly, the second point I want to make is, Amanda, if your biggest concern is people spitting in the streets, you need to get out of your bubble of South Perth. Like, you know, there are children being sold into sex slavery in Cambodia, there's a massive migration crisis in North Korea, but no, spitting in the street is just, that takes priority, takes precedence.
Wow, that's just shot the next 3 minutes to pieces, hasn't it? We'll keep talking about it. Lisa, how do you feel about people spitting in the streets, which I think's illegal in Singapore, isn't it?
It is,
Yes.
You can be
Jailed
over there for like chewy gum on the streets even. So, yeah, shocked and appalled is how it is. I can't say I've seen anyone spit in the last year or two though, mind you, but where have I been? It feels like I've been the one under a rock. It's not okay, it's disgusting. Where did you see some taxi driver defecate on the side of the street? That's just gross.
Oh, that's rough.
But spitting on the street, so you walk on it and it comes in your house. Therefore, you should also take your shoes off when you enter the house, as they do in Canada, as they do in Japan. Let's just be clean all around. But how do you change this? I guess this is the question, and you need to call people on their crap, and that's what it is, it's crap.
Especially their taxi driver, I mean, that's literally crap.
Yeah, and you're allowed to express, it is, you're allowed to express yourself, and I guess spitting is a form of expression, it's an expression, a form of like, you know, being tough or something.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like where would cowboys and baseball managers be if you couldn't spit, right? What are cowboys
And what about when you were at school and you had spitball competitions and you spit them at the teacher or at your fellow students? And so I think it's not good, but in the classroom maybe it's okay. Not that I espouse it, but give it a try.
So Lisa's saying painting, sports and spitting is a form of expression. Either way you wanted to go there. Nunzio, help us out.
I'm a little confused here. I mean, so in public it's no good, but in private, because you know, sexually, you know, everybody spits on everybody. It's all spitting on me. You watch those blue movies, they spit on each other.
People in blue movies are spitting on each
But
other?
look at them, take one out tonight. The girl spits on the guy. The guy, what should I do? Throw her off? Get off.
You're saying society...
Don't spit on me.
You're suggesting Amanda from South Perth, who doesn't like spitting in the street, should go and maybe rent a few
Spits on
blue
her husband. I'm telling
movies.
you now, when they're sexually, they're spitting on each other. She spits on him, he spits on her.
Wow.
But they don't like it outside, because maybe it's a sexual thing.
I think that's really going to open Amanda's eyes to a whole new wonderful world that she maybe didn't know existed before.
Give it a try.
She's missing out on something. Go spit on your husband.
What's with hankies? Hankies gross me out a bit.
Well, you don't want to carry it around all day. I don't think.
Yeah.
Let's put that back in there. No.
See,
No,
I agree. I would almost think, especially if you're sick, if you're ill, better out than in, but not on, obviously. But you don't want to be hocking a loogie, I think is the term, Yvonne, into a hanky and then carrying that around all day, do you?
No, it'd smell really bad.
You don't want that
It's
taxi
disgusting.
driver carrying a
It's
hanky either.
You don't want
bacteria.
what?
That taxi driver carrying a hanky, because anything could happen.
He's wrapping his turd burgers up in his hanky.
Just tuck it away for later.
Wow. You've just come back from Vietnam. Is there any spitting going on in Vietnam?
I didn't see any spitting in Vietnam.
Yeah.
I didn't see any defecating in the streets. It was actually pretty clean. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great.
Well, there you go, Amanda. Either go to Vietnam or possibly rent out quite a few blue movies, which is Nunzio's advice, and maybe you could learn something and jump into the wonderful world of spitting in the street.
Give it a go.
How was it at the strip club? Was there a bit of spitting going on at the strip club that you went?
Had closed curtains, I couldn't see anything.
Okay! This is Sweet and Sour, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you don't want people, when you're showing them through a house, to be spitting.
No, oh my God, goodness no. And I really
Unless
don't.
it's in the bedroom. And then it's
Maybe not during a home open, but yeah, well, you know, if it is, yeah, each to their own.
Well,
you know what's going on if you walk into a bedroom, somebody and he goes,
I hope you've enjoyed the last ever episode of Sweet and Sour. We'll be back after this short break.
Hi, I'm Matt Fuller. I'm always the sour and the sweet. Keep sending in your crap letters.
You morons!
Right there with Gary.
Time for Sweet and Sour. Right here on Sweet and Sour. It's time for Sweet and Sour. It's time for Sweet and Sour.
You just talk whenever you want to, that's all. Welcome back to the last segment of Sweet and Sour for this evening. Thanks so much for sticking around. We have covered some ground tonight and we're going to cover some even more. This is our third letter for the evening. It's called Girls, Girls, Girls. Hello, Australia. Do women get offended if they are called girls? I don't! Exclamation mark. Are men offended if they are called boys? Well, my husband is one of the boys, and I refer to my whole family as the boys club because we didn't have any girls. I read my regular online newspaper to find that apparently it's inappropriate for the Olympic commentators to refer to the female athletes as girls. It's got a somewhat protracted connotation with the sexualising of women, apparently. Thanks for writing that sentence. Puh. Oh, I just spat. Just what we were talking about. Oh no.
That's unacceptable.
Unacceptable. Am I the only one who thinks this is absurd? When I was at uni 30 years ago, a similar vein of thought was engineered and the push to use the word women rather than ladies was the big campaign. I ask now, as I asked then, what's in a word, especially when it's never had a negative connotation previously, but will now be marketed to have a negative vibe? It's the vibe, it's Marbo. Seriously, what's wrong with the word girls when used by a commentator anyway? I don't get it. Iona from Norwood, SA, great letter, complicated topic. Lisa, kick us off. Do you get
I
offended?
agree
Do you get offended getting called girls?
No, not at all. I think it's nice. I think some of these girls, in this one particularly, they are girls. They're Olympians, but they're still young. And girls, there's a young feminine vibe about it. I personally don't see a problem. And I get tired of people calling what's right and what's wrong. I mean, where does it come from? I think it's like in the States with all the litigation. And today, in today's day and age, we have now, you're not allowed to say girls, so that's ridiculous. These are girls, some of them, but even if you're not, then it's a compliment because you're a little bit more mature anyway. The other thing I was going to say is that it is a vein of thought that's come up, and it's annoying. You know, maybe it's also in response to the big push of sexualisation today, and children becoming more sexualised. It's becoming a bit of an issue. So we're trying to. It's unfortunate that it's having like more of an impact in how we see everything. We don't need to be so politically correct all the time, I think, because we take away the fun and the light-heartedness out of it too.
I kind of have to agree with you there. I mean, I think Iona makes a good point. Boys don't mind being called boys. They're like grown men.
Exactly.
I don't know. It's very Nunzio, what's your opinion
I
here?
think when you call boys girls and you call girls boys, then we've got a problem.
Is that what she's saying? No,
No,
I think, no, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But no, it depends. Actually, different parts of the world.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was living in London, I said, the boys back home, that's the boys.
Oh, really?
Like, you gay.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Ah.
so they say lads. So it depends on which, it means different things in different, different parts of the world. But I think girls want to be women and women want to be girls.
Yeah.
And
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But, I suppose, political correctness now. You've got to be careful of everything you say. I think it's a load of crap.
It's getting hard, isn't it?
And you know, sometimes even saying, like I'll refer to when I was overseas particularly, my friends as girlfriends, and then they're like, oh, what's going on there? And it's, well, no, they're my mates, which is the Australian term, but it can be really frustrating sometimes.
We can't say partner now.
Exactly.
Girlfriend, boyfriend, no, that's not cool. We've got to say partner, it's the partner. I don't understand, what do you mean partner? Are we in business together? Well, what's going on?
Yeah, exactly.
Korum, in some primary schools, you're not allowed to have his and her playthings. You're not allowed to refer to things as his and her anymore.
Really?
Is it getting crazy?
I wasn't aware of that. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. A complete overreaction. And as Lisa mentioned earlier, a lot of these girls, that in particular the Olympics, they're young girls that under 25. That to me that's a young person, and I don't think they're out of the realm of girls. And does it really matter?
No, it doesn't
It's like
really
these
matter.
girls, these boys.
According to who?
How dare you call me a boy? Absolutely ridiculous. I'm with you, Anna. It's that people need to relax and
get on with it.
just
Yvonne,
get on with it.
Okay.
help us out. Have you ever been
So-
offended, you and a couple of your female friends being referred to as a group of girls?
No, I personally am not offended by it at all. But I think, interestingly, the question is, why is a commentator saying it? But I thought about this a lot, and I think a commentator is trying to be as politically correct as possible because there's a large number of people listening to him and looking at him. So obviously he's going to want to offend the least amount of people. And if people do get offended by it, not that I necessarily condone that, I think that he needs to then please them. And he's not being offensive by referring to them as women. He's not offending anybody, but he's potentially offending people if he's referring to them as girls. And I looked at it the same way that, with political correctness, it was previously not okay to call somebody, or it's not okay to call somebody mentally retarded, but that's technically the definition of what it is. So, political correctness is a whole debate to be had, but I guess, some people do associate it with negative connotations and are offended by it, then he's just, from a professional perspective, he's obviously not wanting to offend people.
It's veering into the world of, kids not being able to keep score at their soccer games anymore. It's cool. Kids know the score, and you're winning and losing is part of...
Everyone's a winner.
We've got... What a way to finish, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone's a winner, just like Hot Chocolate said. And he believes in miracles. What's our favourite letter of the evening, ladies and gentlemen? What do you think, guys? Our favourite letter? Number 3?
I like number 3. I think it's really good.
Yeah.
Girls, because it's bringing up a real issue in contemporary society. I don't know where it's going to stop. Why not celebrate gender differences?
Exactly.
They're there for a reason.
Are you a girl or are you a boy?
It's cool.
Or both.
That's exactly correct. Exactly.
Either way.
Are you part llama? Hey, we don't judge here at Sweet and Sour.
We don't, exactly. We take everyone as a viewer.
Korum, very, very best of luck with your filming next week. Next
I'm
month,
excited.
I beg your pardon.
Next month. I'm very excited.
You're hoping to have it all wrapped up by the end of the year?
Yes, definitely. There's a lot of work going into it. As a modern sci-fi, it takes a lot of work these days. Lots of effects, lots of amazing props.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a great journey.
Yvonne, it's been a great pleasure being on the panel with you
Thank
this
you so
evening.
much.
Best of luck
I've
with your
enjoyed it.
studies.
Thank you so
which
much.
finish the end of next year.
Yes.
And then the plan is?
To become a journalist.
Yes.
Good luck.
Not just a journalist, the best journalist ever.
Oh, yeah.
Am I right?
Number 1.
Number 1.
Oh, maybe number 2. That'd be good too.
Community newspapers is a great service, let me
I
tell
actually
you.
work there already.
Oh, yeah. Lisa, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure being here again, as it always is.
And best of luck with property development.
Thank
Where
you so
can
much.
we, if somebody wants to pick up, are we allowed to talk about who
Absolutely.
you work for?
Belcourt Property. You can always come and find me there, and I'm happy to buy or sell for you. Yeah.
Yeah, just don't spit.
Yeah, no spitting.
No spitting. Nunzio, it's been great, mate. You off for dinner? You off for some Japanese
Going
now?
Japanese now.
Yeah. And
With the boys.
Sure. And not the girls?
No girls, just the boys.
Just the boys. In London, that means a different thing, but that's okay. You have a great evening. Thanks so much for sticking around and watching Sweet and Sour this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure hosting the show for you. Gary Mitchell won't be far away in the coming weeks. See you next time. This has been Sweet and Sour.
Thank you.
Thank you.